All right, welcome to the show today, guys. I'm really thankful to be here. First of all, if you're here live, we apologize for a short little late start, but the world is round despite the protests of some people, and what that ends up meaning is we're working on like an insane amount of time zones, and we just wanted to start late enough to actually be courteous to our incredible guest today, who I'm really excited to introduce to you in just a moment. It looks like he's already having, or they've already been having a nice talk, Kuba and our guest, and we'll get to that in just a second. But I always want to assume that today is the first time that you've been with us, whether it's live, whether it's a recording, or anything else. And I want to explain to you guys, we'll probably do this every time, what our show here is. Our show is called BFF, Boomer Shooter Friends Forever. And where that title may be playful, what we seek to do here is to look at the amazing community that we have in the retro FPS genre and the connected genres there, and we want to do our best to present the incredible, influential people in this industry to you guys, the viewers, and make their lives and our lives accessible to you, because we do have something incredible that a lot of other communities don't have. And that is this desire to drag more people in and have them love the things that we love. And we have found no better way to do that than to bring on incredible people that we just want to showcase and highlight. The show is put on by Retrovibe, connected to Project Warlock, and we like to start there, allowing everybody to know that the way things happen in our industry is people influence real other people. So we have Kuba with us today, who is the developer of Project Warlock, and we're going to talk today about how our other guest, who I will introduce in just a second, how his work has influenced in a real substantial way Kuba's life and changed that. And then working out from there, we want to invite our friends to that are in chat to kind of partake and understand and join in that, and just kind of enjoy the type of community that we have as the retro FPS classic boomer shooter community, whatever you want to call it. So I'm very thankful that you're here with me live, or that you're taking the time out of your day to enjoy recording with our guys here. Let me just, we'll do a couple adjustments as we go. It's always going to be a little bit of that. But I'm going to turn them up, and then I'm going to introduce those of you who do not know. We'll take you over to, let's take you to Kuba first. Hi, Kuba.
Hi, Jared. What's up?
It's really nice to see you again, man. I said this last time, but one of the things that is becoming a highlight of this show to me is the friendship that I feel is forming with you. I just want you to know that I'm really happy.
I feel that too.
I'm happy to have you with us, man. It's really cool, and I'm happy to share you and the incredible things you're working on with our community. And then, of course, let's pop over to our friend GmanLives today. We'll introduce him to, I'm sure his fans already know, but there without a doubt is going to be the internet's a big place. And so we will introduce him and what he's done and kind of let people know, and then we'll kind of get into it today. But G-Man, you here?
I'm here, man. What's happening? How are you?
Beautiful. There's that voice, man. Iconic.
Yeah. Up nice and early.
Very early. It's around 6:30 in the morning over there right now, right?
Yeah, 6:30 a.m. So nice. Whew. And nice and fresh.
That's incredible. Although you mentioned before you're kind of up anyway on account of the small human who has invaded your life, delightfully so, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the little man's changed my sleep schedule dramatically. So yeah, awesome. It's just another day, really, being up this early. Yeah,
absolutely. So for anybody who doesn't know, our friend G-Man is a rather I used the word already, but it's true, iconic individual within our larger retro FPS community. I believe didn't you hit just 600,000 subscribers on your YouTube channel?
Yeah, just a couple of days ago. Yeah, which is pretty crazy. Like, I still remember when it was like a 3-digit number, man. So
congrats,
it's like,
man.
Yeah,
that's really
this kind of thing that just goes on in the background, and then you kind of take notice of it. It's like, yeah, it's kind of staggering sometimes. Yeah.
That's crazy. I can't picture that many people. I have no idea what that looks like. So congratulations on honestly a massive, impressive milestone, and you really do deserve it. So generally, the way I like to start this show out is something that I'm beginning to. I think I've come up with a name for it. I like to call it. I like to call it Kuba on the spot. Is what I think I'm going with. Where we throw Kuba under the bus, and we. Since again the starting point of this whole thing being put on by Retrovibe and with a focus on how people have really influenced each other within the industry, I like to put Kuba in front of people, and I like to command Kuba to take a moment and to express when it's appropriate the massive influence maybe our guest has had on him and his career and his life. So we'll start off with Kuba on the spot. Kuba, how's our friend G-Man influenced and changed your life? Because I know it's in a massively substantial way.
Well, first of all, I gotta say that I really like watching your videos, G-Man, and I gotta say I did used to watch you before a Project Warlock review, and I always took your criticism from other games into account to some extent, and I always liked that you can create really creative criticism and give cool feedback on games. So you kind of changed the way that I think about stuff when it comes to giving feedback and stuff, and I really like the way that you just review stuff, and it's really inspiring.
Now, it's my understanding that G-Man's review was had a massive impact on the early reception of Project Warlock. Like, having worked with the Retrovibe guys and stuff, and knowing the history. I mean, we have Project Warlock, where, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was a GOG exclusive and stuff like that. And so
for some time, yes.
So you don't have when you do situations like that, like there's always kind of some pushback from community about hey, I want it on this platform, hey, I want it on this platform, and then you have challenges like that. But then G-Man puts out a video, right? Which gets a lot of traction, and taking your first real game that's been published, it's been released in a meaningful way, and actually changing the general reception of that game. Like, it ended up being, I mean, how impactful was that for you? Because I know that's one of the reasons that you guys wanted G-Man on here, was to be like, this was huge.
Pretty impactful. I think it was huge. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it was like the first video that I saw that had a lot of views, and I was really stressed about that because I really did admire G-Man's work, and I didn't really know how he's going to receive the game. But I was very happy to watch the video and see that it was positive, and the comments and the views and everything. It was just awesome. I mean, it was like one of the best moments in my life, so to say.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's really important. It's very important for you to know that it's like one of the greatest moments.
I want to help you. I want to help you state the importance of that, because we've talked privately, and it's one of those things where we're expressing it when we're sitting here with a person. So to help you, I think G-Man, that video that you made ended up being a turning point, like in the actual success for Kuba himself and Project Warlock. I mean, you have this young man here who's to tell you the truth, absolutely. I mean, he says it was very important to him, but the concept of a major somebody who's considered a major figure in the community, and somebody who's at that point like gaining massive traction. It is a terrifying thing to have them look at your title. And I mean, I watched that video, and there was like that was huge. I can't imagine the relief that you would feel seeing a G-Man video. And so, yeah, G-Man, I have a question. As you were making that video, like, you seem to have a lot of positive stuff. Were you kind of aware of the situation where this video would probably be like a big turning point in the life of the game and with Kuba himself?
Not so much to Kuba's life, I suppose, but yeah, like there is like an awareness, I guess, that you can, I think, almost potentially maybe like make or break a game in some instances. Like, I know I have kind of set out that way sometimes to like actively promote something. Like, I mean, the good thing about the indie scene too is that you're not really like, there's no fakeness with that. Like, when you talk about a game being awesome, people can see the footage of those games, and it's kind of self-explanatory. Like, you don't really need to feel like you're making stuff up. Like, you're playing something that's awesome. So, yeah, it's just about making it seem, honest, and that's pretty much what I did, man. I still remember playing it for the first time, and it's like, it's hard to deny just like how fun the gunplay is and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, you just go into it honestly, and if it's for the benefit of the people that work on it, then all the better, right? But that's kind of the whole point of it. Like, it's just, I kind of got into doing this stuff to try to promote those kind of games that that people wouldn't kind of know about otherwise, right? I mean, like a lot of those earlier games like Dusk and stuff like that, like I think me and a lot of other YouTubers are probably, kind of partly responsible too for helping get a bit of a footing for that kind of resurgence of those games. So yeah, I think it's kind of cool. I think we forget sometimes that, we can have a little bit of an influence on things overall. So it's kind of nice to get a bit of that reality check sometimes.
Absolutely, and so like I think that's like the idea with this show is to bring together those like you guys in this particular circumstance and kind of explore your lives and explore the things you guys do and the thoughts behind them. And that's a really interesting thing because we talk about like the kind of the wrapped, like the package deal, right? Like you succeed as you make videos. You're really looking to make success for yourself. Obviously, it's everybody wants to be successful in what they're doing, but your success and the way you handle it directly influences these titles, which feed back into itself. And so you're right. We do have like this unique thing where I think. The success of titles, especially within the indie, FPS scene, indie scene in general, but indie FPS is kind of where we've all planted our feet. Man, you guys like you are a huge factor, and when there is a good title like Project Warlock, Dusk, several other things, it's just such a great thing from the outside. Like I'm a player, I'm a viewer, I'm somebody who is a fan of everybody's, and to see that, and it's almost one of those things where I'm here rooting for a game, and then I see somebody like you, and then you say a bunch of good stuff, and I feel like this high degree of satisfaction seeing like this unified success, and that's really, really neat to see. I want to explore something that Kuba just said as he was saying that is because this kind of rotates around as you like video or games can be made or broken by individuals within YouTubers, large streamers, things like that. Typically, YouTubers a little more because of the access people have to your videos. But Kuba, you said that affects your process when you're doing stuff. Can you kind of expound upon that a little bit? I'm really curious how videos like G-Man's, who you watched regularly before, you said, ended up being something that affect your development process. That really interests me.
Well, actually, it's pretty simple to explain. I mean, when you create something, you do have your own thought process, so to say. And the most interesting thing about that is that when I do stuff, I do it as I think it's correct. But while watching other people, comment different stuff in other games, I do start to see things that I wouldn't see for myself when I was, just sitting and thinking. It's like the influence here is that I really try to understand how people see stuff in a way. So if there's a YouTuber who can really, present their thoughts in a great way and explain a lot of stuff in a good way, like they do explain stuff, how they feel about it and how they think, I can use that to my advantage, so to say, because I know what should I watch out for, what are the things that they don't like, or what are the things that should be improved. And you can actually get that feedback from almost, every video that they put out. Like, it doesn't really matter what game it is. It really matters what's the thought process behind reviewing a game, It's like the stuff that they notice and the stuff that you, G-Man, notice while playing. And this is what really gives me that, feedback on how I should look at things. And I would say that this is the most important aspect here.
Is that a thing that you've kind of reflected on, G-Man, before? The idea that the style of exposition that you have as you review games, play games, preview games, stuff like that it actually affects the development process? Is that a thing you've kind of stopped and looked at? I kind of want you to expound upon that thought.
I mean, yeah, I think with the early access games, definitely, like there's a potential to kind of comment on stuff, and you kind of think always in the back of your head that yeah, that there might be, some degree of the developers watching it. But I mean, so far as like the full release games go, I think yeah, it's probably a little bit different. You're just kind of looking at like a finished product, and there's not really. I mean, they'll probably patch stuff up, but there's not really any fundamental improvements that can be made to the game. But again, like it's probably all about context, man. Like there's times like obviously Project Warlock and stuff like that are games that are very clearly going to be finished and they're kind of actively being worked on and improved. But then there's stuff on Steam, for instance, that I've just done videos on, which is just complete crap. That you're amazed is even on the platform to begin with, and you obviously take a different tone to stuff like that. So yeah, it's just all about context. But I will say, even if I do like a negative video, I don't think I've ever just been outright negative for the sake of like being negative. Like I think even though I might crap all over something, I'd still like to think there's an element of constructive criticism in there. Do you know what I mean? I like the off chance that the devs will ever see it, but yeah, I think it's negativity with like feedback. I think is okay, as long as something comes out of it. Yeah.
I wanted to. Somebody asked a question in chat, which was something I wanted to touch on. And this is why I think developers like Kuba and amongst others are terrified of the concept of YouTubers sometimes. Do you feel like is there ever a temptation to be a slightly harsher than maybe something deserves? Like, how do you balance that? Because this is one of those things, and people love negativity. So how do you? I got to tell you, as I watch your videos, I'm generally really impressed is the right word. I'm genuinely impressed with the way that you handle things that you don't like. You say you crap all over them, but it feels like very targeted, purposeful crapping. But how do you handle that temptation, knowing that if you were to be a little harsher, use harsher language, use harsher titles, things like that maybe it could benefit you more? Because that's what makes you guys scary.
I don't know. Again, like I'd have to say it's the context thing. Like for instance, like if the new Fallout game, not Fallout, well, I guess it's technically Fallout. Like this with the thing that Bethesda's working on, like Starfield. Like if that comes out and it's a piece of crap, you're going to be a bit more harsh on it. Like Saints Row came out, and I think I did be on that a few weeks ago, and that was the biggest piece of shit I've ever played in recent memory. So it's like you're not really taking. I look at it that way. Like you're not really taking money out of someone's pocket, man, by saying that it's a piece of shit. And in some ways, you're kind of keeping money in people's pockets because people who might be spending money on it are potentially going to go, okay, well, I don't want to buy this now because this is a ripoff. But like the indie scene, yeah, there is a sense of like, well, the devs are probably going to be watching this. And just spending 15 minutes going, oh, this is a piece of shit, and not explaining why it's a piece of shit, if that's the case. Yeah, there's no benefit to that. So, it's kind of repeating what we're saying, but yeah, it's a community of people who are all on Twitter. Like, I follow half the devs I do videos on, you know what I mean? Like, so there's just no benefit in just being negative for the sake of views when you're just going to be burning bridges with these guys who are probably just going to keep making cool content that you're going to miss out on because, you went for the low-hanging fruit and went after the views instead of trying to, offer what kind of positive feedback you could give them instead,
So we could say that basically it's all about benefits for like both parties, so to say.
Yeah, well, but yeah, like it is a platform in that sense too, where you can kind of you can be negative, I suppose, if you have to, but there's just there's got to be a purpose to it. It's not just shitting all over someone's creative, vision or whatever, just for the sake of it. Unless it is, like I said, a game that deserves to be shit on, like all those weird anime games on Steam that just like they're just up there to make a few money off, the couple of weeks that they're trending, and then they just fade into obscurity. Like I don't see anything wrong with going after those type of games.
Negativity is also like beneficial, well, in a lot of ways. I do remember previous times before we actually had Project Warlock as a title, we had 2 green lights and we did get a lot of criticism, and we actually used that to our advantage, to actually make something good, or at least to try to make something good. So I think it's really important to actually also give the negative stuff as long as it's like constructive, like you said.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's just like I said, context is key, I think, with the feedback and the criticism. So. And like I said before, I don't think I've ever gone into something especially not indie game. I don't think I've ever really just gone in there just like to treat it like a hit piece or anything like that. I think when you start doing that, that's probably not too great.
I think it's there's two thoughts I have about this that I want to share. One, I think that one of the things that I find to be admirable about Gman that relates to Kuba specifically is that means that your video, or that means the video on Project Warlock really is highlighting true things, and that's an exciting thing for me as somebody who views videos, somebody who plays games. I really appreciate that type of not just honesty, but purposeful exposition and revealing of what's good, what's bad, and things like that. Because that is kind of a plague within general. I try to shy away from the term, but content creation in general. The idea of angry people, big views, or again, like you said, is this community that we have, and you say centered around Twitter and stuff like that, and yeah, we're all kind of connected, and so when I hear you say that, and I see that evidenced in your videos, it makes it so that when I see a video like that Project Warlock video or like something else that you've done, I go, okay, I value this. This isn't trying to get my view. This wants my view, definitely wants my view, but it's not the goal is not just my view, but the goal is kind of continued presence, growth, and respect within the community, which you obviously have, and so that should be a really neat thing for you, Kuba, to be like, wow, this video that he made on my thing, I can actually take that, embrace that, and just kind of bask in that, and that's really cool.
I want to also say that actually this stream also helps me in a way that I can actually now really appreciate the work that you do, G-Man, because it really feels really honest right now. And thanks to this conversation that we're having, you're gaining a lot of credibility, even more that you had so far. And this is really awesome because I really feel like everything's honest, and this is awesome. Just like one of the best things ever.
Yeah, if I could touch on that too, it's always funny when I do a really positive video and then people are like, oh, you're just shilling the game. It's like, but the game's awesome, man. Like, what do you want me to say? Like, you have those games. It's like, I'm just talking about something that's super awesome. So, yeah, it's a funny platform, man. You've always got to find that sweet spot between.
Some people don't like good things.
Yeah, it's like, okay, all these like indie developers just have, millions of dollars to pay me off to give positive reviews on their clearly fun games that, anyway. You could do a whole podcast just chatting about that, but anyway, yeah.
No, but that's actually a really good point because the funny thing is sitting with both of you guys, right? You both have what certain people would consider dream jobs, right? Like there are people who would trade all of their freedoms to have either one of the jobs that you guys have, but the jobs are different than somebody might assume, because somebody, when they're trying to get into it, may go the route of for YouTube may go the route of hostility and enjoy that type of thing. But you say, hey, these are just fun, and I'm just having fun. You're a professional fun haver, and you're professional at expressing that. And that's really, it's so funny because it's like that is what it ends up being about. The skill that you develop and stuff around that obviously is the thing that allows you to express it. But in the end, you are emphasis on professional because there's a lot of work in it, but you are a professional fun haver. You guys have both done your work for quite some time too, so it took a while to get to where you're at.
Yeah, the only non-fun part is just the editing, because you've got to sit in front of a computer screen for 6 hours and stare at Adobe Premiere and look at it crashing every 5 minutes. But yeah, no, the fun bit is definitely the game. Yeah.
I'm also having fun when making the game, so
that's what I was gonna say. Like, there's fun and there's not fun, and so we see G-Man say the editing sucks, right? The editing's, there's probably some joy and satisfaction in creating a thing, and that's similar to development. But yeah, like I kind of want you guys to, because one of the things when people watch this, they always watch it because they want to be you guys. Like, that is hands down. Anybody who's watching this in the aftermath, fans want to be the people they enjoy. They want to be developers. They want to be YouTubers. They want to be Twitter shit posters. They want to be these things, right? And so I kind of want to explore like the process of getting into that. I know we've talked a little bit, Kuba, about that with you. But I do want to kind of revisit the early time of both of you guys getting into your prospective careers. Kuba, you've been making games for how long again? You said it's like 15 or something, right?
All depends on the context, because do we count the early days?
I think we
Like
do. I think
everything,
I think that's the right thing to count. I think that I always, because I'm gonna ask G-Man the same thing to express that, but I don't want to not do yours, because again, people are like, oh, game development's so fun. Getting into this thing, describe the early life. If it was it a lot of work, was it a lot of satisfaction, was it a lot of disappointing stuff?
Well, first of all, the thing that connects me here with G-Man is kind of that I really I started with YouTube, so to say, because I really had to watch the different channels which had, cool tutorials and everything. So the platform is what kind of is the YouTube platform is something that was my starting point, so to say. So I would say Google and YouTube are the two platforms that I really had to use in order to get into it. And I do think that it's like starting point of my life and in this industry. And it's like I think it was like first videos were when I was like 14, maybe 13, something like that. So I mean, that's the first steps, and it was definitely YouTube. So yeah.
I know something about your early time period around there. It's been delivered to me that you actually had like a venture into YouTube as a young man. It's funny because it's a community that I know about.
Oh my
and
God!
It's probably a little embarrassing to you, but it's not, because it's actually
No.
legitimately a community. It's my understanding you started YouTube. And you've since deleted your channels and stuff, but it was like building Lego stuff and that type of buildership community, right?
Oh man!
Explain it to me. Tell me about it.
I'm gonna kill you all. Well, I did start with YouTube in a way. When I was like before getting into the PCs, I really wanted to, share my creations, because I used to play with Legos a lot. And actually, I stopped playing with Legos when I was like, I think 16, 17. So that was a really, really long time for me. And I always loved Legos. So I did create a lot of different stuff. And I did have a channel which had around at least 100 videos. So I feel really embarrassed by deleting it. That was like one of the worst choices ever for me, from today when I'm thinking about it. And I did have a lot of different creations, and I did think of YouTube as a place to actually. I wasn't. It was it was so long ago. I didn't really think about YouTube as a platform to actually, I didn't really think about it as my future, but it was rather a place for me to share stuff that I love, and to share with people things that I like doing. And that's how it started, basically. But then I met some really, really bad friends who hated me for that, and I deleted the whole thing because I didn't want to be laughed at. And I feel really bad about that, because I would love to just watch these videos that I created back then today, and just think about it, how it was. And I used to create a lot of different stuff with Legos. It was like mostly guns. So I did love making Lego guns.
Like the ones that
and
like fire like the real pieces and stuff, right?
yeah,
Oh,
and
that stuff's awesome.
it's really awesome, because back then a lot of the channels that were popular in this Lego niche, so to say, within the Lego niche, we had the Lego gun niche, so to say. And there were a couple of YouTubers which had their own technologies of creating interesting mechanisms. And everyone was trying to replicate this one guy that actually found a way to create a 5-stud wide weapon with a magazine and individual bullets and everything. And I really also wanted to do that, but he never shared his mechanisms. So we had to like actually replicate this stuff just through watching the videos. And that's how my story started and ended with YouTube. It was Legos.
It's really interesting to me because, like, I mean, obviously it's a shame now because ridicule and stuff like that caused you to kind of abandon it, something that you were passionate and enjoyed, and so, but that's a thing that is connected to early YouTube for people, right? Very often is I'm investing my time and my heart into this, and I don't have people necessarily watching yet, and I haven't gathered up this, and so you don't have the encouraging things. And so the reason I brought that up is because I look at that and I go, man, that's really common amongst YouTubers. And then I look at our friend G-Man, who is very successful at what he's done, and I really wanted to know about the beginnings of his career, because that is a very real thing that happens in the process, and overcoming that, and given, I will say that we're probably all very glad that that Kuba didn't overcome it, because that time that would be spent doing that has now been spent doing something that we all get to enjoy in another way.
Actually, there might be a single video which is still up there if you really want it, but
Yeah.
I mean, as a trivia, I can show it if you want. I mean, if I find it.
Oh, please. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you'll have to link it to us. That's great.
Sure.
So, G-Man, your early career as a YouTuber, like how did that start? Where were you? I want to, because you have fans who honestly, they want to be you. They want to look at that process, and I highlight Kuba's challenge because that's really common. And so where did you begin with all this, and how did you kind of push through, or did you not experience that? Because some people just are lucky and don't.
I mean, I think, like, for me, when I started doing the videos, I never went into it to create like a channel or a character. I never really went into it like that. I think that just came naturally from sort of the organic like way the videos changed over time. But I think, man, when I got into it back in, I want to say like 2011, 2012, it was because I was unemployed at the time and I was sitting around my house. I had like pretty much nothing to do all day, so I just started making videos, man. I remember at the time it was Lazy Game Reviews, and I can't remember the name of the other channel that was around back then, but he left the platform. There was another guy who used to do videos. Classic Game Reviews or something, I think he was called. He had that really weird intro with the squirrel. I don't know if anyone knows what I'm talking about. But yeah, like no one really did videos back then, man. Like you had AVGN, like really early AVGN days, and he was like a huge influence on every person who made YouTube videos back then, and anyone who says different is a liar. But yeah, man, I think I just did a video on like Jill of the Jungle or Duke Nukem, either one of them to start with, and then I started kind of doing more. And the first video I think I did, which got a lot of views, was Blood 2. I did a Blood 2 video which got like 1,000 views, which sounds like nothing, but for the time when I had like, 200 subs, I was like, holy crap, like that's massive. And it was just this thing I started chipping away at in the background. I've got another job at the time. I was doing video editing as a job, which helped because I could learn like a better workflow for getting the process done. So yeah, I guess I was just doing that in the background. And I think around 2018, 2019 was finally, I think, when I started to really get traction. That's when I got invited to QuakeCon. And id Software and Bethesda flew me out to Texas, and I got to meet a bunch of people and meet a bunch of devs, and I think it was just the perfect storm and the perfect timing with the fact that Doom Eternal was coming out, so there was like something to work towards there, and I got a lot of early access to stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to quantify because, like I said, like I really never went in there to make a channel. Nowadays, I see a lot of people on YouTube who go into it with this like persona from the get-go, like they start off with this like game plan of like, I'm going to be this guy who does this, or I'm going to be, I'm going to be doing 3-hour-long video essays on System Shock. And it's like, they go in there with that mindset, but it's like, I literally had no game plan. Like my original channel name was like literally like GmanLives is gibberish. It meant nothing at the time. I think the reason for it was because I had a YouTube account when YouTube literally first started, and I used to post Simpsons clips on YouTube and like Seinfeld clips.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I had the DVDs, for it's like Simpsons back then, if anyone remembers those when they were coming out. And I just used to upload like minute-long clips of like Mr. Burns getting shot or something like that, right? And anyone knows that like even back then YouTube was crazy on copyright. So my channel just used to get shut down by Fox because Fox would copyright strike my channel. They'd just be like, you posted a copyright clip, and you don't get 3 strikes from memory. Back then you just got deleted. So I would just keep posting movie clips, and I think there were 3 Gs in G-Man because that was the 3rd time I came back or something. Like my original channel, like that's actually kind of sad thinking about it because my YouTube handle could have just been G-Man. Like it could have been like the OG, because I'm pretty sure my first handle on YouTube was just G-Man before it got, blocked by Fox for Simpsons infringement. But yeah, so it's weird. It's like I really am just here by chance and just kind of a lot of luck. And I think there's a lot of hard work that's gone into it, obviously, because it's obviously not just being lucky, but
quality content.
Yeah, well, it's funny that you say that you liked my original review for Project Warlock, because like I'm at the point now where I'm really embarrassed by a lot of those older videos. Like I'm really not happy with them. Not because I think they're bad, but because like I think the format back then, even like 3-4 years ago, the format was so different. Now it's like everything's long form content, and I think people want to watch those kind of videos. You know, like COVID's obviously a byproduct of that, where people are spending more time home, and so they want to watch longer things and fill the time. So yeah, those old videos that I used to do that go for like 8 or 9 minutes, where I feel like you watch that now and you're barely cracking the surface of a game and getting into it. So yeah, it's crazy. I think I've been very lucky in the sense that I came around, you know, the time when this genre was really kicking off, and FPS games were really making a resurgence. Man, we're pretty lucky in the fact that we've had some really cool titles coming out, you know, from indie and AAA devs too. So yeah, it's hard. Like I said, like I think I'm really just, you know, been in the right place at the right time. I think anyone with the similar skill set who would have done the same thing around my time would have probably been in the same boat. So yeah, it's hard to pick one thing that led to the channel growing, but there's just a lot of really small little lucky things I think that happened along the way.
It's really interesting because like I from, you know, again from the outside I see this connection of there's people always, you know, people set forth to succeed, right? But a lot of the people who are successful at YouTube or at game development, that's a thing you consistently hear is right place, right time. And yeah, you have the skill set and you have these things, but there's all these other factors you can't really control, right? And so I see that in your story, and then it's interesting because the connection from that is that in with your success, you influence other people's success that also ends up being right place, right time. Because how do you get somebody who has eyes on them to look at you and to look at the things you're doing? There's tons of amazing first person shooters right now that are never going to get coverage. They're never going to see the light of day. And you know, guys like you, that's your goal. But I mean, it's this concept of like Kuba couldn't control you and your attitude towards a game. I've seen other reviews that said other things about it, and so right place, right time, and there's just this general connection that everybody gets, and we call it luck. You can call it luck, you can call it providence, you can call it whatever you want, but I'm sure everybody's extremely thankful for whatever the hell it is. I do have an interesting question based off that, because you didn't plan on doing YouTube, and then I'm gonna swing it over to Kuba afterwards, because people always hear stories like that and they go, okay, well, what if that didn't work? What if you were plugging away at this time? Where do you think you would likely have ended up? What would you have been doing with your life?
Look, I probably would have just kept playing a lot of games. I just wouldn't have been making videos on them. But yeah, I mean, like my training and stuff is in video editing and videography and stuff like that, you know. I probably just would have pecked away at that for a few more years. And I mean, it's actually a lot of good money in that too, like just doing that on the side. So it's actually funny you mention it, because I do kind of balance my life at the moment between the two jobs, because I still do other work as well. Only really just to get myself out of the house so I don't go crazy. So I'm kind of juggling YouTube and that, and then, you know, the wife and kids. So it's burning the candle. It's like if such a thing's possible, burn the candle at three ends is what I feel like I'm doing at the moment. But no, I think I've got a good balance of stuff where I kind of I'm at the point now where I can pick the kind of games that I want to cover. So I really like to just kind of really generally talk about things I enjoy playing. So that is becoming harder, obviously, with the sort of just sheer abundance of games that we're getting. But I mean, that's probably like not a big complaint to make, right? That there's too many good games to talk about. So I don't see it as a bad thing.
No, definitely not. Yeah, well, so that's cool. So it is one of those things that I always like to highlight, the idea that like we have a lot of young people who want to get into game development or content creation, and they have this feeling of they're going to risk it all to do this thing. And it's like I see good examples, and I'm sure we're going to talk to Kuba as well about where he probably would end up, but like the concept of like not like it doesn't appear to have ever been like, this is your calling, this is your life, this is what I have to do with it. It's just a thankful successfulness that you seem to have come across, and not this drive that a lot of these younger, newer guys have, where they're like, I have to make this happen. It has to work. Otherwise, I'm going to go crazy, and I'm not going to be a happy person. You sound like you would have been plenty happy if this had never worked out for you.
Yeah, see that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's kind of like you've got guys now who, like I said, go into YouTube with the mindset of like I'm gonna do this from the get go. And like I said, it's funny that I'm known for FPS stuff, which is fine because that's generally my favorite genre. But like my earliest videos, man, were like platforming games. Like I've deleted a lot of those videos because they were awful. But I had a point too when I was doing like weird like little analytical videos, and I did this really bad green screen stuff back then when I was like talking about different horror games and stuff. Like I think it just ended up being FPS. I can't even tell you why it ended up just being that. I suppose I just like naturally shifted into it. But I would say that people who try to start YouTube now with that mindset of like I'm going to be the video essay guy or I'm going to just focus on FPS games or blah blah blah. I mean, I really think you should just do it because you want to do it. I don't think you should go in there with that mindset because the chances are that it's going to be a hell of a grind, and even then, like it might not. You're not going to be the next sort of massive sort of content creator. So yeah, man, just have fun with it. I suppose that's it. That's all I've ever done. And that's all I'm just going to keep doing, I suppose. Just playing the games I generally want to play. Unless they're really shit games and they're fun to crap on. That's the difference, yeah.
Now, Kuba, I want to swing that question over to you because I do see a lot of similarities because we're all like with it. Games are fun, right? Like that's the thing is G-Man's in games, you're in games. No matter what part of the industry you're in, if you're in games, you're generally playing games. There's a couple jobs you maybe don't have time for it, but like where do you think you would have landed if you hadn't have found success through not just having the skills to do so, but also the happy circumstances that you can't control that do lead to success? Where do you think you would have landed? What would you have been doing, and how would your attitude have been?
Well, first of all, it's pretty hard to actually say that, but I will kind of explain of what was going on in my life before Project Warlock, because that's really, really important in this question. First of all, I would like to say that I did find a video of my stuff. I just sent it over on the text chat, and it's from 2012. So I was 14 back then. It's one of the newer videos, and it's related to Half-Life. So.
You were 14, but it's one of the newer ones. I love that. That's great.
Yeah. Like literally, I did make videos even earlier back then. So, but anyways, coming back to the question, I think I think I would have to start from the beginning because it's really important thing that the huge turning point in my life was moving out from Poland to Germany, and I did have to change the schools and the way that I thought about my future. So back then I did start learning German because I had to. And because I did not know German so well, I had to find something relatively simple in terms of using the language. And so if this whole thing with programming and gaming didn't work out, I would probably stay as a refinery mechanic in Germany. So that was the initial plan. But there was always this idea of creating stuff back in my head, and I really wanted to actually work on that, and that's why I did spend a lot of time learning about doing games, and at least trying. So huge turning point again was when I was working as this mechanic at the refinery. I did really want to change the course of my life in a way that I started looking for schools where I could learn about programming. And I think it was the second year of the mechanic school where I actually found an offer for students to actually start an apprenticeship at an IT company. And this actually kind of worked out because I told them that I really like creating games and I really feel like this is something that I could where I could learn a lot of stuff. And I actually got it. So then I started my apprenticeship as a programmer basically next year, and then I started getting into it, and I learned a lot of stuff from the school and everything. So I did try to use that knowledge to my advantage to actually improve my skills and make better games. So I assume that if I didn't get into making games, I would stay with this mechanic stuff thing from the refineries, and other than that, I think if I were to really get into that IT school, I would just stay as a programmer at some company, and that would be it if the games didn't work out. So I think that in some capacity, I would either stay a mechanic or stay a programmer, working on at various companies doing different web-related stuff like databases, front ends, back ends, and websites and everything. So yeah, that's at least that's what I think. But I do love making games, and this is something I truly admire. And this gives me a lot of fun. Even, just sitting and creating new content is something that I loved, and that's why I never actually stopped trying. And yeah, so.
And I see this thread, this commonality between the two answers, right? Is taking these real world skills, these things that are applicable in real life, and developing them and using them as your work and where you're going and all of that, and then that also applying to the things you're passionate about. And I think that is a way people are, right? Like is we take the skills we have and then we find passionate ways to use them and create incredible things. Project Warlock, Gman with his video content and the things that people really enjoy, and that's just a really interesting thing. And I find that to be something to kind of put a spotlight on for people who want to, fans of your guys, who want to be like you guys, who want to make games and who want to make videos, is the idea of real world skills, and applying them passionately to things that you guys do, and I see that, and I think that's absolutely incredible and amazing.
I think
and
the first
clearly
step
makes
is
better
to
stuff.
be passionate about stuff. That's the first step.
That's killer. So one of the things I wanted to explore here on BFF with you guys is the idea, because we're talking about, like, we've talked about, like, our community connection and stuff like that, and G-Man shared that around Eternal's release, like getting drug out to events and stuff like that. One of the things that I find to be most joyful about, joyful and fulfilling about our communities in large is the accessibility of people who are neat to look at, for lack of a better term, neat to talk to. And I look at like I want to explore kind of that process to you guys, or for both of you guys, as you've connected to the industry at large. And I have similar experiences, but yeah, G-Man, as you've found success within the kind of the boomer shooter, classic FPS, retro FPS community, you went from being a guy to being a guy somebody knows, and then being a guy who gets to know people who are just really cool to know. Do you want to talk about like your connections to the community at large and the people you enjoy and how exciting that has been? Because that's a thing people not only want themselves, but they do want to hear about, because it is exciting to see those connections.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a kind of a byproduct, I guess, of just the fact that the community is so tightly knit. Like, I mean, I ran into Dave Oshry at PAX in Melbourne last week, and we had a little bit of a chat about certain things. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just, again, it's kind of touching on what we said before, how everyone really knows everyone in this industry, I suppose, especially in this like sort of FPS community thing. So you are sort of also, in a good way, I suppose, held accountable for what you say, because people will remember the good stuff, but they'll also remember the bad stuff.
It gets around. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm kind of fortunate in a way. Like, I think I had a bit of an ego check a few years back where I said I'd made a few dumb videos and I said a few dumb things, and I think the community has been kind of good in that way, in that it kind of reminds you that, yeah, you know, you're not like the biggest thing. You're still a guy who, at the end of the day, it relies on, you know, the people that you're kind of making these videos for to kind of exist. So yeah, it's kind of held me accountable in a lot of ways. That, like, the fact that when I got a little bit bigger, there was a lot more eyes on me, so there's a lot more scrutiny. So I think in a way it kind of helped. Yeah, like it helped obviously just to get more exposure, but it kind of helped you to just take a step back and look at things and go, you know, maybe you've just got to kind of approach it from a different perspective sometimes too, you know. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
No, it does. It actually it opens up an interesting door for conversation. Actually, the idea that our community is not as big as a lot of people think it is, and I think that's probably why we end up forming connections and friendships so easily with each other. Is I can go and I can type Viscera Fest in a tweet, and I know Osric is going to see it. I can go and type Sulaco, and I know I know that Nextech is going to see it. I don't even have to tag them. It just happens, right? Like, it's really funny. I saw I saw a tweet the other day where somebody mentioned an Australian bloke, and you saw it within 5 minutes, and it cracked me up. I loved it. It was very funny from a viewing side. But the idea that that we are accountable to each other. If you go talking about somebody poorly, like, they find out really, really fast, and that's just a really interesting thing and an aspect of our community, because it is not that big, right? And I think that's kind of the takeaway from what you just said. And Kuba, how's your experience been? Kind of being G-Man and I were in our mid to upper 30s both. We both grew up playing Quake and Doom at release and all this stuff, and have we played our father's computers and played games we probably shouldn't have played and all that stuff, right? And so we probably have experiences that as older guys, we may have less of that. I don't know. The connection probably feels a little different. But Kuba's a young guy, and he's coming into this thing, and people, it's Kuba. You're automatically part of the family. We have this larger connection that is oblivious to age and to gender and all of these things. Like, we all just kind of connect. How's your experience been connecting to developers, to personalities in the industry? Like, how do you feel about that? How's your experience been?
Well, I think first of all, it's kind of true that our community is kind of small but big at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that it's small because it's kind of a niche, but not anymore, so to say. But it's big because a lot of people that I see on the internet talking about our games, like the boomer shooters, a lot of people are just very nice. I mean, it just feels like everyone admires the work that we do. And we all admire our work, so to say. So if I see cool stuff that is posted by Nightmare Reaper developer, I really do the stuff that he makes. And it's like, it's like this connection between everyone, and we are very nice to each other. And we like the stuff that we do because we all like shooters, So if we just see stuff that's related to shooting guns, we are all happy about that, right? It's really awesome because I don't think that any other genre has this kind of stuff. And I really think that the core point of this whole thing is that everyone is very nice, and it just feels so good to talk to those people and to chat, to tweet, to see the comments and the feedback and everything. So that's, I think, one of the core things that I really love, and that's what I see the most as person in this community.
Yeah, it's really cool to see to see those types of things happening, like to see developers and guys who I've just absolutely, like, I enjoy, like you guys all know, I kind of got dragged into this thing about 2 years ago, and I saw Sansia or something, and I was like, that's really cool. And then I saw Project Warlock, and I saw something else that was really, really neat, and it just kind of Cultic. An early Cultic clip, and I was like, oh, I want to know these guys. And then I come in and I see guys like G-Man, and I see guys like you, I see guys just all the names we know, and then I'm like, oh, they all know each other, and this is really fun to view from the outside. And one of the things that, like, I see in chat, I see a bunch of names that are part of our community, and that's a really neat thing to be like, oh, this is a really open community. That the FPS community in general is just very open, unless you make a total ass of yourself. Like, you're welcome to be part of us, and it's just a really special, neat thing. And again, maybe other communities are like this. I've never seen one like it, and it's really, really neat. With that in mind, we have our friend G-Man here, and I do want to open it up for any sort of questions from chat. I can kind of sort through them. If you guys have anything in chat that you would like to ask while we have G-Man here, that would be. This is a really good opportunity to do so. We also have let me see if I have it here somewhere. We also today will be having a Project Warlock big box to give away. I'm going to handle that today. What we'll probably do, I really do like the format of most interesting question, because I feel like it promotes, like, interesting, valuable questions to be asked. Things that are not, where's my Reuben sandwich? So, but I do want to open this up for opportunity for people within the community to ask stuff of G-Man, to ask stuff of Kuba, to ask stuff about the community and experiences or their careers or anything else. And again, this is an opportunity for fans to kind of do so. And so let me really quick. I'm going to see if this is. Let's see something.
I had a great idea for the big box contest, but sadly it's spoiled by one of the commenters on the Twitch chat.
Oh no!
Because actually, I wanted to propose a contest, but sadly someone already noticed it, so it's kind of that's a shame.
Oh no!
Yeah,
This is actually okay. So Bolt Boy has an interesting question, and again, we're gonna allow him to ask a few today, because these are things that people do want to know, and I like this type of question because it kind of leads into well, I know how it's going to be answered. I just want to hear it. So something that worries several people within our kind of industry is retro FPS is getting big, right? Like and some guys are concerned because of saturation that we're going to kind of burn ourselves out, and that's possible. It's not likely, but it's possible. And the idea is of the question is how does that affect? Do you guys have thoughts? Do you guys kind of have thoughts on that? On the idea of things may change for us, and G-Man's popularity may being so connected to a specific genre. If that genre were to diminish in popularity, how would that affect you? What would you do? Where would you go, or would you keep doing what you're doing and just because you enjoy it so much? Like how would you respond to kind of a shift in the flow of excitement in our genre?
I mean, I'm not too worried about it. I mean, for starters, I don't think it's ever going to go anywhere. Because we're just going to keep getting new games. I think that's just there's going to be lulls. I mean, 2012 and around that time was when it kind of died for a bit and then it came back. So there might be a natural progression there. But I mean, I think I've branched out quite a lot on the channel and done videos on games that aren't first person. And I think a lot of the times those are my best performing videos. Talking about like Infamous or Metal Gear Solid or stuff like that. And like those videos seem to do as well, if not better than the FPS ones. So the ironic part is that like I actually have a lot to say about games that aren't FPS. Like some of my more favorite games are things that aren't FPS. So if for some reason that interest dwindles, I'll just start talking about those games, and just kind of keep covering the indie ones that I like, that I would kind of like to have more coverage for. Honestly, I'd love to just be at the point where I could just do a video on an indie game and that just like my video could just sell that game. Like that's the goal. That's where I'd kind of like to be. So that's what I'm working towards. And yeah, I don't think these games are going anywhere anytime soon, man. You watch The Last Realms Deep? I don't think we're running out of games anytime soon.
No, I think we're a little buried. I heard about that show.
Yeah.
Kuba, what I guess a question, and because I do feel that's factual, right? I don't think we're going anywhere. I actually think we're about to hit a little more mainstream, to tell you the truth, which is really exciting for guys like Kuba, who are making things, and exciting for guys like you, because that means exposure for your channel kind of magnifies even more, right? As we have games like Bolt Gun coming out that are going to have a little bit wider appeal to. Because of other games that are in, the way it all trickles down. But as we look at that, Kuba, like what are your thoughts? I mean, I know it's just generally excited, but if you want to expound upon, what are your thoughts kind of about how the genre that you have been passionate about making games for so long, this genre is probably going to blow up soon. What are your thoughts on that? How do you kind of follow that train of thought?
But are you asking about the future or
yeah? We're about to. I mean,
okay.
I'm of the opinion, and I think most of us are, that the general appeal of our genre is growing.
I do think that currently we're at the stage of, so to say, reviving the older games, like for example, the Phantom Fury that just the trailer that released. It's more inspired by. So let's say those newer titles like 2000, 2001, like the unreleased Duke Nukem Forever, or these kind of titles. And I do think that we are going to come a full circle in a way that it will keep evolving, and we're going to see soon some boomer shooters in terms of the first Far Cry games or the first Half-Life. We're going to evolve in a natural way that it was at the early 2000s. And I think that this is where it's pretty much going to go. At some point, we won't. At least I think so. We are not going to get any new Duke Nukem 3D or Doom or Quake-based boomer shooters. It's going to go naturally forward, and it's going to come a full circle. And at some point, we're going to come to boomer shooters.
Yeah,
you know?
the double
So-
boomer shooters. Yeah.
yeah, like I'm still waiting for like a real boomer shooter Call of Duty. That's the 2005 for.
I just had this conversation with somebody where I was like, I want Call of Duty 1. Like that's what I want as a player right now. I want Call of Duty 1 again. I want us to hit that
That was
point.
2003, right? Or
Oh, geez,
2002.
Yeah, was it?
2003. Yeah.
And you're right. I think we're hitting that point where we're starting to see some of the retro arena shooters. Although they've changed a little bit.
Quake 3 Arena, maybe.
We're seeing half-likes. We are seeing a wave of half-likes in development right now, and those are things. I think about like the way this industry is. I'm really looking forward to hearing G-Man talk about the half-likes that our friends are working on. Like that's exciting for me to see that and to see him kind of expound upon those things, and then I'm excited to see Project Warlock 2 and how that continues development. Which, by the way, your last patch was amazing.
Thanks.
Holy crap! I just absolutely incredible. I just wanted anybody in chat who hasn't checked out the new Project Warlock patch. It unwound the levels. Like I mean, it made them much more a little more linear. There's still some side stuff, but it's just absolutely incredible. It's really great choice from you guys.
Yeah, that was a crucial step, actually, considering the player feedback. So we do really want to listen to everything that you guys post. And I think that it was one of the most important things that we wanted to do with the game after the release, once we got all the feedback, So there you go.
And this is an interesting thing, and it ties into a question from one of our friends in chat, is the idea that when Project Warlock 2 came out, I had a lot of friends who were just like, I love this game so much. And I remember, this is totally candid. I went up to my wife after I played it about 2 weeks before it came out, and I said, hey, Project Warlock 2 is so fun that nobody's going to notice how weak the levels are. Like that's what I said. Is I was like, this game is great, and nobody's going to notice the weakest part, and to see it fixed. But that opinion, if I would have said that, would have been really unpopular. And so people who are in the public eye, like our friend G-Man, one of our questions in chat is, if you share an unpopular opinion on a game, like does that make you hesitant to review that game if you think opposite of everybody else? Like, how do you handle that process when you have a game and you're like, I think way different than everybody else on this?
Yeah, yeah, I just don't do a video on it most of the time, to be honest. Nah, man, yeah, there's definitely times when I've had to come in and say something that probably doesn't go with the general thoughts of the community. But I mean, look, man, as long as it's constructive, right, and you're not just saying why you don't think something is good, without a founded reason. But I mean, I think a classic example at the moment of something like that is with Ultra Kill. Like, Ultra Kill is a super fucking cool game, if I can say that. Sorry, F-bomb. But like, I'm still at the point where I'm still trying to get it. Do you know what I mean? And I think I'm at the point now where I can tell it's a really good game, but it's just not my game at this point, because there's so much that's gone into it and it's just evolved so differently. So I think it's a matter of just trying to like wrap your head around understanding why people love something so much. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's a better way to talk about it.
That's actually really probably a really valuable thing for a lot of people to hear, especially fans of yours who do want to do what you do. Is the concept that some games are bad, but not as many as we think, right? Like they might just not be for you. They might not be a thing that you personally enjoy, and that's a topic that probably needs to bounce around our communities a little more, because I do see very often people just say, oh, bad game, and it's like, well, if you have a reason, it's one thing, but if you don't have a reason or you think through it, and that's really interesting to hear from you, is the idea that like who can have fun, who is this fun for? And with that in mind, bouncing off to another question, and I'll probably and this kind of connects to, we kind of talked about this a little more, but somebody's curious, have you, based off any of the videos that you've made, has it ever resulted in like really direct feedback? Hey, I saw your video, and then having a conversation with a development team, publisher, anything like that? Like, have you had that experience, and if so, what is that process like from your side?
Jeez, I mean, I've had some like early access things where I've played preview builds of games, and then I've sent the footage of me playing off to the devs, and they've kind of asked me why I did certain things and stuff like that. But I was actually chatting to someone about this the other day, and I think listening to YouTubers is good in some instances, but there's also times when it's like, just make the game you want to make, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, a lot of these times, like Kuba, for instance, obviously has like a pretty clear vision of what he wants to make, and I could come in and say, you know, a million things, but at the end of the day, like, just make the game you want to make. You know, I don't think just because I have an audience, I don't think that really makes my opinion worth more than someone else. Like, you could get someone to play it who's not even a YouTuber, and they could give you way better feedback than I could. So I think it's like a balance there, you know, like taking the good with the bad. Because yeah, like I was just saying before, like some games are just not for certain people, and while you might not like one thing, that might gel with everyone else who plays the game. The big thing I see a lot of times too is when in PvE games where the developers nerf mechanics, they're like, oh, that's too strong or that's too powerful, we don't want the player to do that. But it's like, isn't that the whole point of the game, is to play it and become like stupidly broken? Like, that's, you know what I mean? Like, so you might have someone come in and say, oh, well, this needs to be nerfed, this is too much fun, essentially. Well, no, like, keep the fun in there. That's the whole point of it. Yeah,
That's actually really fun, because I it might have actually been in your Project Warlock video. I'm pretty sure you hit on that and said something about feeling too strong at some point, and you were like, yeah, it's fine. And then I've heard you reiterate that principle. And again, I think from the outside, I look at what you do, and again, it's a professional fun haver, identifying the fun and then stating it, and I think from you know, sitting down here with you, that Kuba said it before, like the idea of this idea of like a sincere approach that you have professionally. This conversation has really solidified that, and that's really, really neat. And again, that's really neat because you talk about my friend's games. Talk about Kuba's game. Yeah, it likely in the future you probably will as well, and then you talk about all my other friends' games, and it's just an exciting thing to be like, okay, these are real opinions, these are thought out, these are delivered also with a with the understanding that our community does exist. You don't exist in a void. You're not just throwing stuff out. You're actually part of this community that we are responsible to and want to see win and want to see succeed, and that's a great thing to see. Do we have any more questions from chat? Otherwise, I'm gonna pick somebody who I feel should get it, and then we'll I want to be respectful of the time of our guest today. I know G-Man's got a little baby that he's got to take care of and go about his day, and that's something I don't want to keep you from. We have more. Where's your Reuben?
I think it's the right time to actually do something. I want to do something now.
Please.
So, G-Man, I do have a small gift for you, actually. And
okay.
I do have something that was created for you by our artist that works that did work on the first and the second game. And I do want to present you the little gift for you. So it's basically in the vein of the artworks that we do for the game.
Yeah.
And it's for you. So you're going to get it digitally, but I just wanted to show you here live, and that's for you.
That's so cool, man. That's awesome. Thanks.
I hope you like the gift. Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool. Sweet. I might have to take a bit of hair off the top because the top's thinning a bit now in my old age, but I might have to update it. But yeah, that looks pretty cool.
That's great. You still got a head of hair. I saw that picture of you with the shirt at the New Blood booth. You're still doing all right.
It's disappearing. It's going along with my sleep. Like, the hair's just like, mate, we're out of here. Yeah, I think it's just like once you hit your 30s, man, the hairline just decides it's, you know, heading to a different time zone or something. You know what I mean?
Oh man, I lost mine at like 14, so I don't even remember what it feels like at this point anymore. It's long gone.
Because you know, Dakota, who does like the art for like everyone, basically. I was chatting to Dakota, and I was going to get an updated profile pic, and I said, "Oh mate, just draw me with less hair. That's all you'll need to do, basically." So, the sad truth of like getting older.
All right, so I feel like the most interesting question in that group was likely from our friend FPS Aesthetics. We'll contact him and send him off a copy of that. Again, I just want to be courteous of the time. So let's go ahead and to close us out. I'm going to ask each of you guys if there's anything that you want to say on your way out, whether to each other, whether to the viewers, or anything like that. Just anything to just kind of closing thoughts on the community at large, your careers, even if it's advice or whether it's a comment on the community, just something that you would like to say to people on our way out of here. So let's go ahead, Kuba. Let's go ahead and start with you.
Well, first of all, if there's anyone on the chat watching us and this person doesn't have Gman subscribed on YouTube, then please do that. You really have to do that. If you don't subscribe to Gman, then I'm going to be very mad. He's a great guy, and just watch his videos. That's the first thing. Second thing, I would like to thank you, Gman, for joining us. I'm very happy that we had the chance to have a chat. I'm really glad about that. We discussed a lot of cool things today, and I'm very happy for everyone to be listening to us, because I had a lot of fun today. I mean, that was an awesome stream, and yeah, I'm very glad for that. So you guys, make sure to subscribe to Gman.
Cool, thank you. Yeah, I mean, look, off the back of that, it's like we could sit here for 3 hours, man, and just keep chatting about stuff. It's actually the only downside is just how fast time goes when you're chatting about stuff you love. But yeah, no, I mean, look, I mean, it's obviously I wouldn't be here too if it wasn't for the guys making the games and the people who play the games. So I just keep saying, man, I really do think I was just like in the right place at the right time. You know, G-Man reference there makes all the difference. But yeah, it's just been crazy to see how the industry's changed. And I think I'm lucky that, like I said before, I've been held accountable for some screw ups, and I think I've kind of come out of it a bit better. So yeah, man, I'm excited to just keep playing the games that come out, and yeah, seeing, you know, hopefully the evolution of these games too. You know, like hopefully that Duke Nukem Forever leak is going to kind of propel, you know, a new kind of wave of these kind of shooters. And
I agree.
Influence people to kind of kick it up. I want to see Return to Castle Wolfenstein like throwback, man. That's what I want. I want someone to make like a, you know, a homage to that. That'll be my jam, or like a No One Lives Forever homage or something like that. That's going to be the fun stuff. But yeah, look, just thanks to an awesome community, and yeah, when I'm out about at these conventions and things, sometimes it's always cool to chat to people who, you know, hear my voice and put the voice to the content creator. And yeah, thanks for everything, I suppose. Thanks for watching and supporting my crappy channel. Still can't believe it's 600K now. It's just baffling to me.
That's good. 600 is massive. Like I saw that, and I haven't been like tracking your growth or anything. I just watched videos here and there, and I that kind of shook me, because that's major, man. Congratulations on that again, on the huge milestone. Like that's huge.
Yeah, no,
for
thanks.
us in the community, that's huge, because as you succeed, it feeds back into these other guys and they succeed, and that's just an incredible thing to see and to be part of. So no, thank you for joining us with this.
Yeah, congrats again, man, for the subs. It's awesome.
Thank you, man. It's awesome. Yeah, cheers.
All right, well, we will allow our guests to go off and do whatever they need to today. Again, guys, if you are in chat right now, I'm Jared. I was joined by Kuba, the developer of Project Warlock. I would encourage you guys to check out the first game and the second game. The new patch is absolutely fantastic. I really enjoy it. Winner of the big box, we will get your information. I'll reach out to you. I'll get your information. I'll relay it to the team. G-Man, congratulations on the amazing milestones. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being absolutely delightful and somebody I've really enjoyed sitting down with. And for everybody in chat, this is the whole point of this show is to open up the community that has not just we've just been part of, but that has embraced us and been a joy for every one of us. And we want you guys in chat to lean in and to be included as well. Follow the guys on Twitter, interact with their stuff. It's a really neat thing. Our community's not so big that it's not like tweeting at politicians where you don't get a response. You can tweet and contact these guys, and they can be people who you know and who get to know you as you continue to do it. Our community wants more of you involved. So please, whether you're watching this live, whether you're watching this through a recording or anything like that, join us in our retro FPS, classic FPS, boomer shooter community. We don't care what you call it. Just join and be part of us. So I guess that's going to be it for today. I want to thank you guys again, guests and viewers. Have yourselves a fantastic evening. Thank you for being incredible people that we are so thankful for, that allow us to do this show and everything else. All right. Have a great afternoon, evening, whatever it is. Thank you guys again.